Comet Chat is a communication platform, similar to things like instant messaging or group chats. Comet Chat allows you to build into your website or your application or even your web app live communication between users. It is scalable and easy to use, and we're going to explore exactly how it works and what it does in this video. Let's take a look at the 3 types of communication that Comet Chat provides out of the box. The very first is text. This is akin to sending messages to people, very similar to SMS. The next is audio or voice. This is where you call people, which is traditionally used in a lot of services these days like WhatsApp. And finally, you have video, which we all know and love. Text communication comes with a number of features ready to go, such as being able to do single sign-on, so that your authentication of your users just happens magically behind the scenes. The second is things like, for example, message history, which is very useful if you want to make sure that, for example, your old historical data is just there, ready to use. We also have cool AI features. This means that you can do things like sentiment analysis, allowing you to understand whether a message is positive or negative or neutral, or even happy or sad. This can be useful if you're trying to understand a conversation and, say, apply the right emojis to that conversation as well. The next is having able to do rich media. Now, rich media is adding, say, images into your text conversations, which I'm sure we all do these days. And finally, you have things like typing indicators. This allows you to know if someone is actively responding to your message, which I always like to know. The voice component is a little bit more simple because traditionally we don't need too many features when we're calling someone. But of course, you can do one-on-one calls that are in high definition, as well as group calls, and you can even do calls with transcripts in the background so that you have a message history of what took part in that conversation, which is pretty damn cool. Video, on the other hand, comes with most of the features that you're used to, plus a lot of scalability to really build out whatever you want. To start off with, you can do traditional video calls between different people, but of course you can do conferences too. You can do things like live streams, for example, or even use it for education. There's a number of use cases, and as you get into it, you'll learn a lot more about how it works, which we'll be going into in future videos. With all this different type of functionality, you might be wondering how exactly do you build Comet Chat into your own application? Well, it's quite simple, and there's 3 useful ways to do it. The very first is a chat widget. The second is a UI kit, and the third is using the SDK. The UI kit is actually a middle ground between the two. So let's have a look at the very first type, which is the chat widget. The chat widget is everything ready to go out of the box. It will take you just a few minutes to get a chat interface up and running for your own website or application by using the chat widget. This basically is an entrance to Comet Chat and allows you to test out the features and how they work. For some people, this might work as, for example, the little bubble on the bottom right of a website where you can chat and interact with different people. The second type of interaction is the UI kit. Now, the UI kit is coming with pre-made modules and components that you can start integrating into your own website and app. We'll do future videos on it so you understand a little bit of how it works, but it gives you more fine control over how to build it into your application. The final one is the SDK. This gives you unlimited control over how you want to utilize Comet Chat. It basically gives you the free rein to build out any capability in your website using a combination of text, video, voice, as well as other components depending on how that real-time data is utilized, which is pretty cool. Now that we know a little bit more about Comet Chat, its features, and how to implement them, we're going to take a look at some of the use cases for it. The very first, as you may know, is social media. This is the traditional text, voice, and video that we do when we're interacting with one or more individuals. The second type, though, is called live events. This is similar to live streaming, but it comes with a few more features, such as, for example, if a business wanted to white label their own performance for a seminar or a webinar with Q&A and moderated chat in the background. This is an example of where Comet Chat shines. Another example is in, for example, healthcare. If you need private communication between one individual and another, such as a doctor and a patient, and making sure that communication is compliant based on the country's needs. Again, it's another case where you get full control to enable that compliance. Another example is, for example, in dating or in the schooling industry, where, for example, education more and more is moving online, and being able to have students and teachers interact in different ways is one of the strengths where Comet Chat can really shine. Of course, to be able to implement some of these features, you need really good code and documentation. And what we'll be doing in future videos is having a look at how to do just that. we're going to take some very popular projects and see if we can clone them and replicate them. I'm also going to go into some really cool creative demos where you can use Comet Chat to do things you might have never even considered, like for example an interactive drawing canvas that everyone can participate on, which is pretty fun to do. On top of that, I'll be releasing shorts on really cool micro interactions you can do with Comet Chat, as well as running a live stream where you guys can jump on and ask questions or even suggest topics that you want me to do videos on. Comet Chat is also entirely free to use up to 25 users. This means that you can jump in there and build as many applications as you want and trial and learn it without having to pay anything. When it gets to the point that you're building it for an actual business or a startup with users, it's a pay-as-you-go model where you're only paying for how many users are actually utilizing the platform. You can jump on the pricing page to have a look at more details about this. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is just a brief introduction, but we'll be diving much further deeper into the whole Comet Chat platform and how it works. If you like this video, hit like, hit subscribe, add a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.